Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Real Talk, Real Life, and Real Live with your host, myself, Damon the Agent. It is 2025, you all. I know I haven't been on since the end of 2024, but a lot's been going on with me. So I am glad to be back. I thank each and every one of you all who are checked in with me, asked the questions. I've still been getting real estate questions asked to me, and as always, you all know I like to jump into my show and always talk about the latest real estate trends. So, as always, we're going to jump right into it. So, my topic today is wholesale. The reason why I'm talking about wholesale is because a lot of wholesaling is going on in Washington, D.C. For those who don't know, in DC, that is a market where there are a lot of renovations going on, a lot of buildings being built, a lot of growth is happening in Washington, D.C. and the surrounding areas, but more so in DC. Also, with DC, there are a lot of renovation projects that are happening as well, too. So, with the renovation, you also have a lot of homes because a lot of older people have passed away, left homes to loved ones, and things of that nature, and people decide to sell. A lot of those homes are outdated. They need a lot of work just to be up to code and to be more modern today. So, because of that, there's a lot of wholesaling. There's a lot of people who are trying to buy those homes who are outdated, and they're actually trying to sell to those investors and get their little cut in between. Now, for those who don't know what wholesaling is when normally a buyer buys a property with it being reassigned, with the intentions of the contract being reassigned to another buyer before the proposed settlement date on the contract. And the person who wrote the contract, of course, they're trying to sell the property for more than actually the contract was written. Hypothetically, let's say if they wrote a contract for 400,000, they might be trying to sell the property for 450 to someone, and in the midst of trying to sell the property to 450, they are also they are also trying to get that differential. Now, as long as they could do it before whatever the terms in the contracts is, they will be profitable. In some cases, they have to do extension. In other cases, they have to reassign the contract over to people. But in the meantime, the wholesaler makes it easier for some people and also profitable, because while they're doing this and they're having certain properties under contract, if they have a network of investor, a network of people that they can try to sell it to, in many cases, it works a lot, especially depending on the market. And in a market such as Washington, D.C., it can work a lot too, because unfortunately, there are some houses that are overpriced. And then unfortunately, there are a lot of houses that need to do renovation and everything. You have a lot of investors who target certain areas like that. And when they target these things, they also have to take into consideration what is the economy in that particular area. Because even when a person does the wholesaling and renovation, if you don't have buyers to buy it, then you're losing out on money and you're not making any money. So as long as people are doing that, they are pretty much in a good position to be profitable. Now, I say all that because, like I said before, the wholesaling is a big thing that takes on a whole life of its own, and it goes on quite often, especially in Washington D.C. And the only reason why I'm talking about Washington D.C. is because we're in the Washington D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area, and I'm licensed in all three jurisdictions, and I deal with it quite often. Now, I also want to say today I came on a little early at 11:30 rather than 12 o'clock, because there's some information I'm going to provide to you all. Like I said, I've been gone for a whole month. And in the process of being gone for the month, there have been some things going on. As you'll know, my show is called Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, and Real Live with your host, myself, Damon the Agent. Well, I'm adding something to that. I'm going to be adding the real secrets of money. The reason why I'm going to be adding the real secrets of money is nearly 2 years ago, I stepped out there, got my life insurance license. Now, the reason why I got my life insurance license is because going back to COVID, when COVID happened, unfortunately, there was a lot of people who were passing away. And in the midst of people passing away, there was a lot of people who were posting GoFundMe. Because I started to see the GoFundMe so much, it made me curious to how was GoFundMe getting paid? So I noticed when people, let's say if they put up there they needed $10,000 and they got more than $10,000, of course it's a win-win for both GoFundMe and the recipient who needed the money. But let's say somebody put $10,000 and they only got $3,000, then they needed all $3,000. But of course, GoFundMe had a small fee. Back then, the small fee was 0.5%. Then they increased it to 1.5%. Then they increased it to 2.5%. Then they increased it to 2.9%. Then they increased it to 2.9% plus 30 cents. I don't know what it is right now because I haven't looked at it over a year, but I'll check it out. But when they were doing that, it kind of made me wonder, like, what's going on? During that same time, there was a lot of people out there who were getting PPP loans. In the midst of them getting PPP loan, I noticed it was people who were more my color. And I found out a lot of people were just saying anything because they were desperate for money and they knew that that was somewhat guaranteed. At least they thought it was until they came back and found out that they people lied on the application. So I also noticed that there were other ethnic nationalities that weren't applying for PPP loans as much as my nationality was. And when I was looking at those other nationalities, I tend to look at to see what specifically was going on. I found out that some people were using and pulling money from their IUL life insurance policy. So I didn't know what an IUL life insurance policy was because I was always told about whole life, term, and those were the main ones. So when I looked into the IUL, I found out that the IUL, which is an index universal life policy, it was basically a living benefit and death benefit that created a cash value to where the owner could actually take a loan from their own policy as it accumulated over time. So when I started to see this, a lot of people who had those policies were pulling money from there rather than applying for a PPP loan. And in some cases, they were actually pulling more money than they would have actually got a loan. So because of this, I did some more research. I read a book that said how the rich stay wealthy through life insurance. It's a book about 70 pages. When I purchased that book and I read and I learned that Walt Disney and Mr. what's his name? The one who invented McDonald's and the owner of J.C. Penney, they all started their business through their cash value life insurance policy. And during the Great Depression, everyone who had a cash value life insurance policy were the only ones who were surviving and thriving during an economy such as the Great Depression. So that pushed me to go get my life insurance license. So that is the reason why I'm going to be adding that to my real estate, real life, real talk, real live, and now the real secrets of money, which every week when I bring you the latest real estate topics, I'm going to also bring you some information about the real secrets of money in the wonderful world of life insurance, in which, you know, when it pertains to annuities, Roth IRAs, debt elimination, mortgage protection, the IUL, like I mentioned, whole life term, and so much more that I'll definitely be sharing these information with you all because I want us all to be financial literate. So we don't just look at others who are thriving. There's no reason why we shouldn't be thriving as well. It's unfortunate that a lot of us live paycheck to paycheck. And me too. I've been in that boat where you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know, you're trying to do certain things. I remember at one point when I would go to the gas station, I remember if you put your debit card in there, it will authorize $1. And when it authorized $1, it would give you time enough to actually, put your money in the bank account the next day. I used to do things like that. But then I see that in this country, in the United States, Black people, as far as millionaires, despite what you see on social media, when you do the research, Black people equal 1%. 1%. And majority of them are professional athletes and entertainers. Asian Americans equal 8%. And a lot of them come over to the country and they have a unity amongst them and they work together and they stick with each other and they do all these wonderful things with each other. And I'm saying to myself, well, how can we do it? Now, I'm going to shed some light on that when I talk about my topic today, which is about the Black community. But I just wanted to briefly talk about that. And I do know that I have a bump right here, so please excuse my bump. It's been there for 2 days. And also, I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Christian, even though I have this on. I am a Christian, so I know somebody asked me about that. So I just wanted to share those things with you all as well. So I'm happy to be back, y'all, and I'm happy to give you all the latest information on real estate. Now I do have a question to answer real quick. I also want to let you all know I'm going to be having some guests that come onto the show, and with the guests that come onto my show, they're weekly guests. Today, I'm going to actually bring on a young lady. Her name is Brandy Bridget. Brandy is the owner of the agency at the National Harbor. She is actually the owner of the company that I am affiliated with, and she is a lady boss. She's very good at what she does. Matter of fact, she's excellent at what she does. Brandy has inspired me in a way because at the same time, I've recently came over to her office, like I think it was right before Christmas, the week before Christmas or something like that. Not even 2 months yet, but in that short period of time, I've learned a lot from Brandy. I want her to share some information on her about what her company is, what it's about, and if you all want more information, you always can reach out to myself and Brandy about FFS. Now, FFS, which is called First Financial Security, is a company based in Atlanta. Now, I'm not going to go more in details about that. I'm going to let Brandy share some of that information. And also, I am going to click a link right here. Matter of fact, I have a website in which I'm going to, and of course, you all know my Damon the Agent, but this is my life insurance website. I want you to go to it because when you click on it, you can scroll to the bottom, get more information on FFS. So, and it is called, I just posted it. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, that's the website that I want you all to visit and everything in order to um, check that out so you can stroll down because like I said, I will be adding financial literacy onto my real estate. Of course, I always do real estate all day, every day. Matter of fact, the reason why I'm having to push this time up today rather than it being at 12 noon is because I have a settlement at actually 1 p.m. So I have to make sure that I have time enough to get to my walkthrough and also get to my settlement. But of course, I still will be coming to you each and every Friday at 12 noon to give you the latest real estate topic and also to give you the latest topic when it pertains to financial literacy and the real secrets of money. And trust and believe, when people have money, they feel like, oh, I don't need to know about this. But when you're broke, you want to know everything you can know in order to get you some more money. So all I'm trying to do is help people because I would want somebody to help me. You can take it for what it is. You can listen. You can, but I think you will learn a lot because there's a lot that I've learned. And like I said, I've been newly licensed with my life insurance for going on 2 years now. Now, Brandy says she is coming. She's on her way. So while she's on her way, I want to briefly go into my topic that I want to talk about. Hold on. Well, Brandy is on right now. So let me welcome the wonderful Brandy Bridges. She is the owner of the agency at the National Harbor. I want her to come in and share, who she is, what she does. And like I said, I recently joined her team. She's been helping me a lot. She's been holding me accountable, and which is good for me because as you all know, I stay very, very busy. But she's been one person who's been putting the whip on me. I feel like I'm in the Marines or, some type of drill sergeant, but it's in a good way. So 1 second, y'all, while I bring Brandy on. I'll be right back. Brandy, how are you?
I am wonderful. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I
Wonderful.
can hear you loud
Excellent.
and clear. Well, I want to thank you, first of all, for coming on and to hop on my podcast. Like I just said briefly before you came, as you all can see at the top, I normally say real estate, real life, real talk, and real live. But Moving forward, I'm going to be adding the real secrets of money to the real topics that I'm always talking about anyway. So, like I said, I joined your team. You're excellent what you do. So please share with everyone specifically what it is you do, who you are, what you have to offer, and anything else you feel like sharing.
And you tried to scare them away from me, saying I was treating you like I was a Marine.
Listen, no, I said I need somebody to hold me accountable. See, the problem with me is people be fearful of me sometimes. I don't know why. I'm really humble, but it's probably because when it pertains to women, like say my daughter, my mother, and everything, I'm real nice. But when it pertains to guy, I got like a zero BS for guys because I know a
Yeah,
lot of guys are full of BS. So I don't know, but no, it's all good though. You're not a bad person. You're a great person. You're an excellent person. You're helping me, and
joking.
you're helping me to help others.
Yes, no, I appreciate it. I'm so excited to have you as part of the family, a part of the team and the organization, right? Because we have to have these real conversations.
Hmm.
And I don't believe we have the real conversations enough. A very short about me. I got into this industry because I realized how important what we do is only after a major tragedy in my life. So 11 years ago, I was widowed. My husband was killed in a pedestrian hit and run car
Mm.
accident and left me with three small children, 5, 4, and 4 months old. And it's funny you mentioned Marine because we are a Marine family. He was a Marine and did 6 deployments in 6.5 years. Developed severe PTSD where we were medically retired. And so, as a Marine wife with that amount of deployments under my belt, you always are in fight or flight mode, thinking that something's going to happen when they are across the seas, right?
Hmm.
When he came home, my guard came down. I'm thinking that life is going to begin, that we're going to have the ability to now buy that home and have that picket fence and the dog and everything in between. So you never think about how someone can go to work one day and never come back. And
Yeah.
so at a
Sorry to hear
very
that.
young age, thank you.
Hmm.
Very young age, I realized that, wait a minute, there's got to be more to this financial game of life than what we talk about.
Hmm.
And so that's when I found the industry that we are in. I was able to understand that when a person dies too soon, what can happen financially. And most people say, oh, yeah, that person died too soon. Well, guess what? When they're your loved one, it's always too soon.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a matter of how are you financially prepared for that. We also don't realize that there are a lot of things that can happen in life that doesn't mean it's death, but it can
Hmm.
mean impairment. So an illness or an injury, right? you
Yeah.
know how many people know someone that's had diabetes, a heart attack, stroke, cancer, or something, and
Mm.
it has financially derailed their life? We
True.
got to start getting prepared for that. And then the one that is plaguing a lot of us is most of us don't realize that we can run out of money in
Hmm.
retirement, and that retirement is real, and that, you know, there are a lot of real aspects to it. So we need to understand and learn the real secrets of money. And that is why I have partnered with you, my friend. It's because we are going to go out and not just talk about real estate. We're going to talk about real life,
Right.
real conversations, and
Right.
we will talk about how the real secrets of money can impact all the other real things that happen in our financial future and just in life in general.
Yes, that's true because they're talking about Social Security running out. A lot of people, like I said prior to you getting on, one of the things that had me to get my life insurance license was the fact that when COVID hit and so many people passed away, and I noticed so many people were putting GoFundMe on posts and they were going into it. So I started looking into GoFundMe. When I started looking to GoFundMe, I started to notice that when it started, they were only charging 0.5%. Then it went up to 1.5. Then it went up to 2.5. Then it went up to 2.9. Then it went up to 2.9 and 30 cents. I don't even know where it is right now. But I noticed that. And then I noticed that, okay, yes, you're asking people sympathizing. But like you said, I also noticed that a lot of our older people are in nursing homes or being uncared for. And I see a lot of other nationalities where they're older and they're still taking cruises and trips. And part of the reason is because they supplemented their income through the financial literacy that they learned, you know, whether it was from their parents or whomever. And we're just financially illiterate, period. A lot of us, because we weren't taught in school. Like we weren't taught how to balance a checkbook. We weren't taught anything. So we have to seek out this information in order to make us have a better life. Yes, some people trying to get the so-called bag and do whatever they is, but they still struggling. It's not
That's
coming
right.
at ease unless you are majorly connected to someone or athlete, entertainer, or something. You know, you can say what you want on social media, but the truth is what the truth is.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So on top of that, your office is at the National Harbor, just like you can see that great view in the background of where you are. Um, yeah. So I like to also tell people like what it is that we can do for them briefly, not just teaching them, but if they wanted to come join us, come visit, or whatever.
You know, they should come visit us just because, right? There's so many things that they can learn when they come into the office. We've got a CPA, we've got an estate attorney, we've got business attorney, we've got health insurance. There's so much that they need to learn about how life intertwines. But then we also do some fun things. We have tons of events where you can come and you can network and meet different people, but we always have a central focus of learning about finance. And
Hmm.
so that is a pivotal part of what we get to learn. And so we want people to really just continue to grow, right? And that's the name of the game. And so, come visit us, come see us, come if you haven't yet in 2025 had financial analysis. Link up with your boy, and let's make sure that we get that done. So therefore, 2025 is not a repeat of 2024.
Yes, we want to thrive, not just survive. And I feel like a lot of people out here are just surviving, and a lot of us can be thriving. So I mean that's a whole nother conversation. I'm going to touch on that briefly in a minute, but yeah. So listen, Brandy, I thank you for taking the time to come on my podcast to show your face, to say who you are, what you have to offer, and I'll be working on that application by tonight too. Like she tells me what to do, y'all. Y'all just don't even know. I'll be having deadlines and stuff. But see, the reason why I can identify you with the Marines is I was supposed to join the Marines. So that's why I probably can, I was
Yep.
supposed to
You feel my
join.
vibe.
Yeah, I was supposed to join the Marines. So, it was a lot going on back then and I didn't, but that's where I was going because when they was talking about the branches, which one you join in Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, I'm like, I'm going to the Marines. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Well, guess what? We get to now do all the things that you wanted to do and serve in your country. We're going to serve in a different manner.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you again for taking out your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay.
All right, y'all. That was Brandy. So, real quick, I'm going to go into my topic of the day. Give me 1 second. All right. Again, if you all are not following me on all social media platforms, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest. Okay. And also on Instagram, I have two pages now. And I have one called Damon the Agent, which is who I'm always known as, but I also have one called The Agent Damon. And that's my financial wealth literacy page as well. So if you can access that through my Damon the Agent. But real quick, I want to talk about the Black community. Someone I was talking to in the past, several people the past couple of days, because I made a post about me visiting my mother at the nursing home, and while she's in there, I was, feeding her. So I was just shedding on some life as far as what I go through. Like I wear many hats, and all the things that I do. But people, reached out to me because how I care for my mother. And they were asking me, did I have anybody to help me? Is there any family? When they said family, I'm like, no, I'm all, besides me and my kids, I'm all my family. I mean, my mother really has. I mean, I have cousins. I have a couple of uncles on my mother's side, but a lot of times, you know, no one can do anything but me. And I always look at it as my responsibility because it's my mother. I also realized with my mother's side, her brothers and sisters, my brother, one of my brothers passed away in 2003, Adrian. And me and my brother Adrian were about my mother. So long story short, the last time my aunts and uncles saw my mother's when my brother passed away, they haven't seen her since. Um, I spoke to one of my uncles last year. He was like, "Why did I move my mother so far? My mother used to live uptown in D.C. I moved her to Montgomery County." But I'm like, don't matter where she is because y'all still ain't see her. So I say this to say because even when I've been at the nursing home visiting my mother, I see a lot of elderly people in there. I see that they don't get visits. I see that they don't have people advocating for them. And then when I see things that happen in the world with our people, for example, if a white person kill our a black person, people want to talk about Black Lives Matter, but when a black person kills a black person, you don't get that same outcry. I see how selfish a lot of us can be, how vindictive a lot of us can be. A lot of times we don't want to hear the truth because we don't want to be held accountable. But I'm going to give everybody the real truth. Us as black people, we are not well mentally. We haven't been well ever since slavery. See, all the trauma and all the drama and all the mess from our ancestors were passed on from generation to generation to generation. This is the reason why there's so much chaos and confusion in our community. This is the reason why we can get a whole bunch of black people together and either a fight's going to break out or a shooting is going to occur. This is the reason why women can, hate on another woman, look at somebody, be mad at the other person for whatever. This is why, like, when a person like myself who strive to be better tomorrow than I was yesterday, but I have family members who say, oh, I think I'm better than them. When I'm not even thinking about them. I'm just thinking about achieving my goals. Because of what we've been through as a race, we never got the proper healing. We never got the proper therapy. We don't have unity amongst each other because the reason why we don't is because the educated ones who are trying to get something, sometimes you have the uneducated ones who trying to take from the educated ones. We have all this black on black crimes, carjackings that occur on each other. We have so much going on in our community that's so messed up and it's so in chaos and everything that when things happen, then we say, oh, we need to stick together. But truth is, we ain't going to stick together because the only time people stick together is when something happens to you directly. Because gun violence is going on and it's affected nearly everyone. People being broke has affected nearly everyone in our community. People looking out for your own family members. People don't care. See, as long as they good. See, one of my aunts was alive when my brother passed away. She said to me, "Oh, you're your mother's next of kin and everything." Then she said, "Oh, your mother's in D.C." And guess what? My mother's in D.C., but she lived in Capitol Heights. And I said, "Yes, but you have a car, and you're talking like my mother's in New York." And I say that to say that we make so many excuses about why we can't do anything. But you'll find the excuse to do something that you want to have fun in. If somebody said to you, oh, I got $1 million for you, and you got to pick it up at 2:30 a.m. and you can't be late. If you show up at 2:31, the $1 million is gone. I guarantee you're going to show up before 2:30. See, it's all about priorities with us. And the unfortunate thing is, though, is our priorities are jacked up. There is no priority in our community. There is no priority in our community. We only care about us. See, we're so selfish that we don't even realize it is so many selfish people out here. As long as you good, that's all that matters. You don't care about your father who might be dying in a nursing home alone because you mad at him because him and your mother had a fallout, which ain't got nothing to do with you, but you take it out because you're siding with one person. Fail to realize without that man, you wouldn't be here. So how much do you really love you? But see, that's when I know how selfish people are, because a lot of times people don't really love themselves. That's why we got these so-called gangsters shooting and killing each other, like in our community. You don't really love yourself. You don't really care. Just like some guys who know a woman got an STD but just because you want to have sex with her, you'll still hit it raw. You don't really love yourself. You don't really care for yourself. I love myself and I love my loved ones and my family. Like even when I was younger and my brother was in the street, and there were things that I could have did. But you know what I thought about? I always thought about my family. See, I've never been a selfish individual, and unfortunately, it is more selfish people than it are unselfish people in this world, in this community, in our community. And I'm just saying, I'm kind of fed up with all the BS and everything. The Black Lives Matter when somebody outside our race kill each other. But when we're killing each other, don't nobody say nothing, except the family that has been affected. You know, I just don't like the way we are because mentally we are terrible. See, if we stuck together, because there's strengths in numbers, whether you realize it or not. It's like when a funeral occurs and you see 6 people carrying that casket. See, 2 people alone can't carry that casket. You can get 2 people and put them in the middle on each side. I don't care if they weigh 300 plus. It's going to be so much on them. But the 6 people carrying it together makes the weight load so much lighter. And that's the same thing when it pertains to our community. If we stuck together in numbers, we would get so much further. See, we have a lot of people who are successful individually, but collectively we're not. You got people who got their own nice house, 4 or 5 bedroom home. Either them and their kids, 1 or 2 kids living in there. Got these cars, 2, 3 cars. Only them driving it. And then you got the ones who are trying to rent out a room somewhere who are relatives to them, but struggling. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, the ones who are struggling, they'll come over and they don't even try to help. They don't try to contribute. They don't try to say, okay, let me get a part-time job. Let me contribute to the food, to the gas, electrical, anything. They just soak up everything. And that's a mindset going back to slavery, like I said. That's that, crab in the barrel, get over mentality. So you trying to soak as much up as possible from this person. You understand? Take the load off of you. That's why our families can't stay together. You ever notice that all the problems we all have in our family, other Black people have it in their family? Like you'll always have people who can't get along and everything in the family and stuff. It's the same behavior. Why do you think it's the same behavior? It goes back to slavery, y'all. And people don't want to get counseling. They don't want to get therapy because they claim they don't want nobody in their business. But the truth is, people are going to be in your business because they can see your behavior. So it's going to show one way or another. And until we wake up and realize how our behavior is detrimental to us, we're never going to thrive. That's why we're declining. Yeah, you got your kids and your grandkids stuff, but what about your grandkids? You don't care about your grandkids and how they live? You don't care about the future because once you dead, you gone. So that's their problem. Is that how you doing it? Because see, Dr. Martin Luther King and all of them didn't feel that way. They thought about the future. And the problem is we don't think about the future. We only think about the present. And I am challenging every Black person out there to evaluate yourself. Don't judge and look at somebody else. Evaluate yourself. Evaluate your heart. Ask yourself, are you the best version of you? Do you, first of all, start with your parents, grandparents, kids, whoever? Start with them. How is your relationship with them? Do you really care? And caring is not when something's going right there, everything. It's when things are not going right and you have to sacrifice your time, your money, your effort, your energy. Are you willing to do all those things? Because if you're not, then you really don't care. See, everybody cares when things easy. That's why relationships fail a lot of times. Because when things are going good, when people are going out to eat, they taking trips, they having good sex and everything, everybody's happy. But the moment something hits the fence, hits the wall, they blaming the other person or they bailing out because they feel like they ain't got to deal with that. See, the lack of effort shows a lot with people. And I'm just saying the lack of effort in our community is terrible because everybody think they're worth more than what they are. Everybody think they are high value, whatever. Even when you go for a job, you think you should be getting paid more than what you are. Because you are over, you know what I'm saying? You're doing too much. No, you're not doing too much. You're really doing too less. You're just doing too much in other areas. The areas you should be doing more, you're doing less. And I just say this again with our people, please look at yourself. Because right now there's a time in this country where we should be unifying, we should be together, we should be helping each other, we should be loving each other. But unfortunately, we're always against each other, bickering, arguing over stuff. Too much testosterone in the room, mean mugging, females gritting and criticizing other females' toes and looks and all this other stuff. All that stuff is superficial. It don't matter. It don't matter because we're not together. We're not unified. We don't help each other. You know, even with black businesses, we don't help each other. But don't get me wrong. Some black businesses overcharge. You know, you want somebody to support you because you heard that lie. Oh, charge them and then add tax. You can add tax to all you want and everything. But if you ain't got no customers and stuff like that, your business is going to go out of business. Okay. That's just how it is. You got to start low, under everyone else. And then once you gain momentum and you start to increase your sales and stuff, if it's supply and demand, then you add more and then you add tax. But see, ain't nobody teach y'all that. Y'all just hearing part of certain things and stuff. And I just say that to say, reevaluate yourself. Be nicer to the next black person you see instead of mean mugging them and everything. Be nice to your loved ones. Don't say nothing if you can't say nothing nice to them. Check on your loved ones you ain't spoke to in a while. Your aunts, your uncle, your mother, your father, your grandparents. Check on them. Start within. The problem is we don't start within. But if something happens to you, you're going to want somebody to check on you. But the funny thing is, though, is you don't even check on people that you know ain't doing well, that you know need help. You don't even do that. So the thing is, though, it's called karma. You ever wonder why sometimes the good die early and the bad live long? But then when the bad live long, they suffer. They suffer long. They suffer. Loneliness, illnesses, all these other things because they don't have a good heart. And I just say that to say that until you change, nothing else is going to change in our community. So when all these things keep going on and you keep saying, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. See, talking is all that. Just talk. See, other races, they don't talk. Even they got to complain on somebody at the job. They call in, they fax in, they email. They do all that stuff. All we do is talk amongst each other. Getting community gossiping and stuff. Gossiping is what? Gossiping don't get you nowhere. Just so you know, it don't get you nowhere. It's just you gossiping. I ain't one for gossip. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that about the black community, and I can go on and on and on, but I got to be somewhere. So I'm going to end it and do my little recap right now. And don't forget, but I'll tell you in a second. 1 second. All right. Thank you all for joining me as always. Remember, this is real estate, real life, real talk, real live, and now with the real secrets of money. Please follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. I have 2 pages on Instagram, The Agent Damon and Damon the Agent. And you can access the other page when you go to one of those pages. And follow me also at YouTube, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, Threads, and Pinterest. And also, if you want to know more about that, check out my latest website. I have 2 websites. I still have DamonTheAgent.com, but this is my other website, YourWealthAgentDamon.com. So I want you all to know I'll be back next Friday at 12 noon. I'll have a young lady. Her name is Denise Young, and her hold on before I go. I'm gonna tell you where her book is. Okay. All right. Denise Young, and the name of her book is called Quit Whining, Start Winning. Quit Whining, Start Winning. She will be on next week. We will talk about that and more about relationships and everything to that sort. I thank you all each and every Friday for joining me. I appreciate you all. Please check out my websites, DamonTheAgent.com and also YourWealthAgent.com. And I look forward to talking and seeing you all soon. Thank you all. You all have a great and wonderful day.